Hey, what's going on, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. The Dodgers have money to burn, but how will they spend it? More on that in just a second. But quick reminder for all the latest Dodgers news and rumors, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comment section. Today's Dodgers Nation question of the day. How should the Dodgers spend their money this offseason, especially when it comes to adding another starter? Should they bring back Clayton Kershaw? Should they consider signing Carlos Rodon? Let me know down below in the comment section. And for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So once the MLB lockout ends, the Los Angeles Dodgers are going to have plenty of money to spend. And despite having the second highest payroll in all of Major League Baseball at $214.5 million, MLB insider Ken Rosenthal says the Dodgers have money to burn this offseason. He said on the Athletic's recent Baseball Show podcast, when the lockout hit, there were a number of teams in a mode where we expected them to spend. Remember, the Dodgers didn't sign Corey Seager back. They didn't sign Max Scherzer back. That's a lot of money they will not be spending. They could be getting money back on Trevor Bauer if he is suspended into the 2022 season, so they are a team that could be active. We've heard them linked to Freddie Freeman. Who knows? They could even get involved in Carlos Correa. They'll have money to burn. So yes, he's absolutely right. The Dodgers will have money to burn, and yes, they did try to re-sign Corey Seager. There's been tons of reports out there about the Dodgers offer. It was close to $300 million, so the Dodgers definitely made a very competitive offer, but they weren't close to the $325 that the Rangers ultimately end up signing him for. And then, of course, there is Max Scherzer. The Dodgers, they went all in on Mad Max at the deadline last season. He was outstanding down the stretch for the Dodgers, and LA definitely wanted to bring him back, but they didn't get close to offering him what the Mets did. The Mets signed him to that 3-year, $130 million deal, set that new AAV record, $43+ million per season. The Dodgers didn't get close to that. Based on people you talked to, that they weren't comfortable with that third year with Mad Max, considering his advanced age. So that is a lot of money that the Dodgers have to play with. And then, like Ken Rosenthal said, you have the Trevor Bauer situation. So there's so much uncertainty with the Bauer situation. It's really tough to give it an accurate assessment of where it is right now. It looks like he's probably not going to be charged. It also looks like MLB is probably going to suspend him. Maybe that suspension will come retroactively, but I don't want to comment too much on that because it's complete speculation at this point. Bauer clearly believes that he's going to be back with the Dodgers next year, but there's also a lot of insiders that say he's pitched his last pitch for LA. So we're going to hold off when it comes to Trevor Bauer's situation and how it'll impact the Dodgers spending. But you do have that Seager contract that wasn't signed. You had the offer to Max Scherzer. So what do the Dodgers do with their money this offseason? Well, the big thing for me, of course, first and foremost, top of mind, has to be starting pitching. And right now, the Dodgers clearly want to bring back Clayton Kershaw. His health is an uncertainty. He did have that PRP injection. Hopefully, he'll be ready at the beginning of next season if they do decide to sign him. And if you look at Clayton Kershaw last season, he definitely had his issues at times. Make no mistake about it. He had a 3.55 ERA. That was the highest since his rookie season. But you look at that strikeout to walk ratio at 25.2%. That's still among the game's elite. That fastball velocity, it did dip last season again at 90.7 miles per hour on average. He did miss the 2 months due to that elbow forearm inflammation, but I do think the Dodgers will try to bring him back. And it's not just because he's an iconic Dodger. I think the Dodgers realize how good he was before he went down with injury last season. In his first 18 games of the season, through 106 1/3 innings pitched, he posted a 3.39 ERA, a 2.99 FIP, a 2.91 xFIP. He led the Dodgers with 3 F4 in that span. And if you look at his strikeout numbers, 30.1% K percentage and a 4.5% walk percentage. You see his increased use of that slider, one of the best sliders in the game. So as long as he has the feel for his slide piece, he can definitely give the Dodgers quality innings out there and quality starts. So I think they'll make a big effort to bring back Kershaw. I think if he continues his career, it will be in LA. But even if the Dodgers do re-sign Clayton Kershaw, there are the health concerns. They need more starting pitching, and that's the bottom line. And some other players that I want them to consider is first, Carlos Rodon. I think Carlos Rodon could be an attractive option for LA. Scott Boras has said he doesn't want him to sign a very short-term deal, but maybe the Dodgers could get him on a 2-3-year contract possibly. But Boras has ruled out a 1-year contract for Rodon. But how good was Rodon last season? How good could he be for the Dodgers? Well, you know I bring my facts to the fight, so let's take a deep dive on Carlos Rodon. In 2021, Carlos Rodon posted a 2.37 ERA, a 2.65 FIB, had a 34.6% K percentage, a 6.7% walk percentage. In 24 games, 132 and 2/3 innings pitched. His home run to fly ball percentage was at 9.6%. His expected ERA was at 2.68. His xFIB was at 3.17, and he posted a 4.9 FWAR. He finished 5th in the AL Cy Young Award voting. He finished in the 95th percentile in expected batting average, the 96th percentile in K percentage, the 90th percentile in whiff percentage, the 93rd percentile in xSlug, the 96th percentile in xWOBA, the 80th percentile in fastball velocity. And if you look at his pitch mix, he throws that fastball 58.6% of the time. Last season, his heater averaged 95.4 miles per hour, and then he goes with his slider as his primary secondary pitch. He throws that slide piece 27.1% of the time, and then he goes with that changeup 12.5% of the time, and then very seldomly he goes with that Uncle Charlie at a 1.8% clip. But let's do a little rewind on Carlos Rodon. He was drafted 3rd overall by the Chicago White Sox out of NC State in 2014, and he was limited to just 12 starts in 2017 due to a bicep injury, and then ultimately he underwent arthroscopic shoulder surgery in the offseason, and that kept him to just 20 starts in 2018. Then in 2019, he was the Chicago White Sox opening day starter, but then had to undergo Tommy John surgery in May of that year. He made 4 appearances for the White Sox in 2020, including 2 starts, and in those appearances, he gave up 7 earned runs in 8 2/3 innings pitched, had 6 strikeouts to 3 walks, gave up a home run. After the season, the White Sox non-tendered him, and there wasn't very much interest in Carlos Rodon, so he ends up re-signing with the Chicago White Sox on a 1-year, $3 million deal, and at that point, the injury-prone label was firmly stamped on Carlos Rodon. He had thrown just 42 1/3 innings pitched from 2019 to 2020, but he does return to the White Sox on a 1-year, $3 million deal. He made some changes to his mechanics. He modified some things. He refined his delivery, his release point, and he really found something because he was on fire to start the 2021 season. He tossed a no-no in his second start of the year against the Detroit Tigers. He made the All-Star team. His ERA was down to 2.14 at one point after a strong outing against the Houston Astros. But the issue with Rodon was he started to fade. You started to see that velocity go down. You started to see the innings go down. He averaged more than 6 innings per start and 96 miles per hour on his heater through July 18th. But after that, just 4.5 innings per start and 94.1 miles per hour on his heater after that. So there was definitely a drop-off. The velo on his fastball dropped all the way down to 91 miles per hour in his start against the Reds in late September. But they did give him 12 days off, and in a start in the ALDS, he averaged 96 miles per hour. So he did get it back up towards the very end of the season. So I'm pretty high on Rodon. I think that the Dodgers could get the best out of him. I want to see what this training staff, this coaching staff could get out of him. I think they could optimize his skill set, and he has the stuff. He has that filthy repertoire of pitches. When he's on, you see how good he is last year, flirting with a perfect game. He did throw that no-hitter. So I'm definitely riding with Rodon if it's an option for LA. But another guy to consider is how about Yusei Kikuchi? Last year with the Seattle Mariners, 157 innings pitched, 29 games started, had a 4.41 ERA, a 4.61 FIB, had a 24.5 K percentage, a 9.3 walk percentage, had 1.1 FWAR. Yes, those numbers aren't attractive. Those numbers aren't numbers where you say, hey, let's go out and spend our money on Kikuchi, but he did flash early on. Last year, he averaged 95.2 miles per hour on his fastball. That was second only to who? The guy I just talked about, Carlos Rodon. And if you look at his first 15 starts of the season, he posted an impressive 3.18 ERA with a 25.4 K percentage, an 8.5 walk percentage, and he made the All-Star team. But after that, he did lose some spin. He lost some velocity. And from July 7th till the end of the season, he posted a 6.22 ERA. You saw that K percentage dip to 23.3%. You saw that walk percentage go up to 10.3%. And then you also saw tons of home runs. Lots of balls leaving the yard on Kikuchi, 1.7 home runs per 9 in that stretch. So the Mariners, they just said, nope, we're done. They declined his 4-year, $66 million option. And Kikuchi, he didn't pick up his 1-year, $13 million option. So he clearly wants to test the market and see what he can get. And I've had a lot of you ask me about the possibility of the Dodgers signing Kikuchi. And I think it's not the worst idea, but I think my big issue is how hard he was getting hit last season. They were smoking the ball off Kikuchi, hitting rocket shots. He had a 91.9 mile per hour average exit velocity. That was the worst in all of Major League Baseball. We talked about all those bombs he had given up. But then again, this is the Dodgers. They find a way to get the most out of everyone pretty much in their organization, or at least try to optimize them the best they can. And if you can get him at a discounted rate, it might be something you want to consider. You also have the Blue Jays are interested. The New York Mets have been rumored to be interested in signing him. And the fact that he turned down that 1-year, $13 million deal, it tells you he probably wants a little more length on his contract. Maybe 2 years, $20 million, 2 years, $21 million, something in that range. MLB trade rumors projects him to sign for 2 years, $20 million. But let me know down below in the comment section, how should the Dodgers spend their money this offseason? Should they sign Carlos Rodon? Should they sign Clayton Kershaw? Should they consider Kikuchi? Let me know down below, and be on the lookout for part 2 coming soon. For all latest Dodgers news and rumors, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.